Hi, and welcome back to Dogs Do Speak with Colin Spence. Unfortunately, we do not have the lovely Samantha Wayland with us today, but she will definitely be on the next podcast. Today, we have Sarah Jones, who is the founder of My Anxious Dog. And Sarah will, in a moment, will tell us a little bit about herself, how she got into the industry, and also, we're going to be discussing how I got into yellow. All will be revealed very soon. So, without further ado, good morning, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. And thank you for inviting me onto your podcast.
It would have been rude not to. Can you just, explain to the viewers who you are, how you got into the industry, what you do before we actually go into the full part of the version of the podcast, please?
Yeah, so I'm Sarah Jones and I'm the founder of My Anxious Dog. I am just an owner of an anxious and reactive dog. I'm not a dog trainer. And yeah, I got into yellow because of her.
So, what is it? What's it all about? I think it's a little bit obvious, yeah. But elaborate more on why did you start My Anxious Dog?
So I got Bella back in 2012. And I went to see her as a puppy, before I picked her up. And I was told by the breeder that she'd had a traumatic birth. Her mum had to have an emergency cesarean, and one of the litter mates had died. But everything was okay. And then when I went to pick her up at 8 weeks old, she had been bitten, probably play fighting, by one of the other litter mates, and she had quite a nasty mark on the back. Um, and again, didn't think anything of it. I never got to meet the mum because the mum had been separated from the puppies quite early. So I thought that was okay because obviously I just was an owner of dogs. I had no qualifications or understanding like the general public normally do. So yeah, and she was a lovely, beautiful puppy, but we had a few instances in dog training. She would be very obedient, always listen to me, always completely and utterly focus on me. Um, but she didn't like it when other dogs got too close to her or
Mhm.
bounced or got, too playful, and she would tell them off. And I just thought she was being sassy, and nobody else said anything to me. And then one day in class, a lady said to me, right, I want the anxious ones over here. And I can't remember what she said after that, and over here. And I got put over there, and I was like, why have I been put over here? I don't really understand. And I should have really followed it up, but I didn't. I just thought, oh,
Mhm.
I just got put over there probably because there wasn't very many of them. And yeah, and I just didn't realize what Bella's personality was like, what she was saying to me, literally, until she started snapping. And then the reason she started snapping was she'd got attacked a couple of times when she was younger. And I think one time when she got attacked, this dog came from across the park and hit her on the side. And I think it bruised her. So when people touched her after that, it hurt. So not only was she put off by dogs, but she also thought that every time a stranger would touch her, it would be painful.
Right.
So it got to the point where she would snap.
Mhm.
Um, and I hadn't recognized her signals that she was saying to me that she was in distress. Yeah, and then I had a bit of a problem on my hands.
I mean, it's quite understandable for that you didn't understand what was going on. No one is born a dog expert. Yeah,
No, I know.
we learn as we go along, and we pick things up. Some things are going to be more obvious than others. Yeah, our dogs are telling us, "I really don't want to be here." but somewhere else in a different environment, it may not be so obvious. So the trainer, when she or he said, these over here and those over there, should have given an explanation as to
Mm.
why she's splitting the class up. And off the top of my head, I'm just assuming that she was trying to make it more easier for the differences amongst the dogs. Yeah. So what happened from there? You went to that side, and how did things fare?
Well, after doing all the training, Bella was really good. She listened. She's a very intelligent dog. And I found that we'd done puppy training, we'd done beginners, we'd done intermediate, and we went up to advanced. And when I had to leave the room and she had to stay in a position because of her way, she couldn't sit still. She would sort of try and stand up. And I thought, what am I doing this for? So that's when we went on to, do other things like agility and flyball. And flyball was where she got attacked. But after this happened with her, snapping at someone, I went back to my dog trainer and said, oh my God, I don't quite know what's happened. And that's when I first heard about yellow. And she said, have you heard about, if you put a yellow ribbon on a dog's lead, it means that they need space. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, no, I've never heard of this, but this sounds like a great idea. Obviously, putting a yellow ribbon on Bella made her look even cuter. But I went back home and basically Googled and researched as much as I could to find out about what yellow was. And yes, indeed, yellow is the official warning colour for caution.
Mhm.
Um, it's also the brightest colour, so it's easy to be seen from a distance. Um, but there was just nothing out there that suited Bella. You know, Uh, Bella wanted everyone to keep away and do, not touch her, basically ignore her. So, and there wasn't anything on the marketplace. And it's funny, a few months ago, my memories on Facebook, it came up with a post about me asking, does anybody know anywhere where I can get a do not touch lead or something? And, obviously that's where my journey of my anxious dog first started. Was I couldn't find anything.
Wow. But then you decided to do it and go alone and set up your own way of doing things. So when did that thought come to your mind?
Um, I'm not quite sure because obviously it was quite a long time ago. Bella's 13 now, and this started happening. It happened, she was about 1 when it became a real problem. Um, and I did, obviously I approached, I saw several trainers, behaviorists as well, that each taught me different things and what to do and what not to do. And I learned a lot. And one or two of them I learned a lot, not what to do as well. But I had the knowledge of how to help Bella. But then when I wanted to go out in public, although I had that knowledge, I felt like nobody could see her voice. Like Bella, obviously, when she was struggling, when she was younger, was showing me all these signs of dog language that she was whispering to me, she was talking to me, and then she had to shout at me and everybody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a case of, I had to learn from that.
So, in other words, the difficulty of anyone that has a dog that is, environmentally challenged in the way that Bella is, you struggle when you're out in public because what you're saying is that other people are not reading the situation. They can't see that there's something wrong ahead. The dog's body language is telling us and you, Fido, beside me, that we need to stay away. That dog's
Yeah,
uncomfortable. Yeah.
yeah,
So, and you're going to get the majority of people just allowing their dogs to run up to you and yours. Yeah. Which causes even more mayhem. Yeah. So you must have enjoyed. Do you have any stories that you could tell about certain situations that actually panned out like that?
Well, uh, yes, I have quite a few stories. Back then, I used to find it quite difficult when Bella was a lot younger. Well, I found myself actually not doing anything, not going to classes, being scared to go out because even though I'd learned how to help her and do positive things with her, I was still quite scared, embarrassed, and felt like I was sort of, you know, I'd failed her almost. Um, so given having the yellow, I felt that it would give me the opportunity to go to be able to go out because how would anybody know that we were a little bit different? Because back then people didn't talk about it so openly. It was really embarrassing. So yeah, I've had loads of things where I've walked through a park, obviously when you don't go in the parks and let your dogs run around when you've got one like Bella, but sometimes you have to walk through areas where there could be an off-lead dog or through the woods. And I've got, loads of times I've had, people just letting their dogs run around. They're on the phone, they've got their earphones in, and I learnt to do things with Bella, what I'd learnt from the trainers and things. But I would always, instead of just freezing myself, I would learn to turn round and walk away
Mhm.
and reward Bella and chat to her. And sometimes we would also turn it into a little like fun running game as well, to try and get away from the dog. And if the dog, I found if the dog was going to follow that was off lead, the owner would then panic. Um, and you also find that the people then become reactive because the person can't get their dog back on, when they call it. So they get embarrassed. So they become angry with their dog. So then, the owner with the anxious one is also getting angry because this dog is making their dog kick off. And it just becomes this world of shouting and anger and
Yeah.
panic and everything else. So one of the things is I'd say is best to turn away and go a different direction so that you try not to encounter into the punch up with owners and dogs as well.
It's a vicious circle because you're leaving a situation that could get out of hand. And in so many cases, I'm sure others, you probably have, this has happened to you, where you then walk into another encounter.
Mm,
And this time you can't turn and go the other way because you're just walking away from which is literally behind you.
yeah.
So it must be so difficult for owners and even dog trainers that have dogs that are socially challenged. That navigating the world environments out there is not easy.
No,
Uh,
no. Everyone think taking your dog for a walk is a lovely experience, but there's many a time, even recently, where I've come home in tears. I've sat down on the floor and cried my eyes out because of frustration, anger. It's sad. Yeah, it can be really, really tough, really, really tough. And part of I'm jumping forward, but part of what my awareness day is to have for people to understand what owners of dogs with big emotions go through. It's really, really not easy. And the love that they have for the dogs is unbelievable.
it is scary. I mean, the dog's world, since they've become domesticated, has shrunk. They hardly got any space anywhere to go. A dog that is environmentally challenged, their world has shrunk even more
Mm,
because the owner's world has shrunk as well.
mm.
They got nowhere to go, or they become midnight walkers or early morning walkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and there is a book called Midnight Walkers by Annie Fenix for that same purpose. So when we look at it, I think it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. It
You
is, yeah.
my Bailey, he's not socially challenged in that way. But even I'm very, very aware. Oh my God, maybe we won't go there today. It's a sunny day. There'll be too many people and dogs.
Yeah,
So let's go to this little private field. You can have a good run around and not get into. Even it really does have an impact on a lot of responsible dog owners.
yeah,
So
yeah, it
so
does.
once you then started off my anxious dog, um, what things did you start doing? How did it become where it is today?
Well, I needed for Bella, I needed something that said basically keep away. So that was the first, and so I had a lead that said do not touch, and I had a harness that said keep away. And it went on. I wanted products that people, it's really, really tough. So I
Mhm.
wanted a product like when you go into the pets at home and places like that, and you see all these lovely products. There's never anything for dogs that need to wear yellow,
No.
So yeah, so I've designed. And I don't
Wow.
know where it came from. I'm not a designer, but I designed a collar, and part of our brand is you do it for love. Because I used to get a lot of people go, oh, I don't want to label my dog. You're not labeling
Mhm.
your dog. You're showing their voice, and you're doing it because you love them. So, and so we have the Y harness that's all padded and sponge, and the wording is really important. Yeah, so that's how I first got in. I wanted a product for Bella. I wanted a raincoat for her in yellow. I wanted a little jumper like everybody likes to put on their dog when it's snowing, and
Mhm.
whether they need it or not, but like, that's what we do. So it just stemmed from there into lots of products. And it's just grown. I've done one lead, I've done one harness, and then
Mhm.
it's grown.
So does it have an impact?
It does now, yes. Yeah.
And so can you tell people that are watching, those that may have dogs that are environmentally challenged as well, how is the impact feeling now compared to before you really went, I'm going to go do something about this?
I think first of all, I wanted a product for Bella, and then I had a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a really good idea, but nobody knows what it means."
Mhm.
And I was like, "It is a really good idea. I don't know why everybody doesn't know what it means, and everybody needs to, and there also needs to be an understanding of what it means as well." Um, and the judgment that you get as well was a big part of it. Um, so I then went on after designing the products and thinking, no, I don't want to give up on this. This is for my dog. So I designed stickers like this. It's a poo bin sticker. And you can put them on your poo bins in your local park. Well, you can put them anywhere. I've had all sorts of people put them on the back of their laptop things or on suitcases or so yeah, basically parish councils are in charge of your local parks, and I've done it all around my area, and I've not had once a parish council say no. I've designed a poster that you can put up in your local vets.
Oh.
You can put it up in your dog groomers, you can put it up in the pet shop, cafes, and basically it just explains, have you ever seen a dog wearing yellow? And then explains, and not just dogs that are reactive and anxious or can't cope in the world, it explains about rescue dogs that are learning to trust again that need a little bit of space. Or
Mhm.
maybe they're blind or deaf, and get startled if they get touched or sniffed, or a lot of dogs like us experience pain and don't want to be touched. So it's understanding it's not just that person going, oh, look at that nasty, horrible, aggressive dog over there. It's under promoting all the other reasons. Um, so I tried to make it into something that wasn't, when I first started, embarrassing and you've got a nasty dog. So I thought, how do I try and get people to be proud
Mhm.
in a funny sort of way? So then we called ourselves the Yellow Army. So we
I
do
like
little bar we do little badges that come in the
Mhm.
awareness pack, and you're part of the Yellow Army, and it's our job to do these things to raise awareness.
You're doing a tremendous job. And what you just love about what you just said, it wasn't just really for anxious dogs. It was for any dog that is environmentally challenged. That's why I use the word environmentally challenged, because
Mm.
we're always in an environment where our dogs are talking to us that they're not comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether they are reactive, which is just an umbrella word for responding to a stimulus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or responding to X, Y, or Z. So what you're doing is absolutely great. I love the harness, how that pans out, how that looks. Then you've got a beautiful collar that goes with it. And what you said to that owner that says, I don't really want to label my dog. You're not really labeling your dog. Yeah.
No,
And here's the thing, Sarah. What's bloody wrong with labels?
I know.
It tells me exactly to stay away.
Yeah.
You know,
I know
so
it's yeah, it's something I want people to not think as a bad thing, you know, and it's something that goes part and parcel of owning a dog, training a dog, and then when you're out in the big wide world, you know, people to understand and visually see your dog's voice, because a lot of the public can't see it and don't understand it. So,
you're so right in that. We all can see, but if we don't understand what we are seeing, that's a problem in itself where our dogs are concerned,
mm,
because we'll continue bringing them into spaces or places where they're uncomfortable. Yeah. And then things can spiral from today I feel like this, but tomorrow I will bite, I will growl, I will snap, I will lunge. Yeah. Because you're not listening to me, mum. Yeah. But like I said earlier on, none of us were born to understand dogs from the off.
mm.
But
I
sorry, go on, you go.
No, I just felt like there was no, you know, lots of people trying to educate through training and behavior work, but I didn't feel there was anyone as an owner of an anxious dog doing the after shouting about the aftercare, you know, on being out in the a crazy world it is now. So
And who better to talk about anxious dogs other than anxious dog owners, caregivers, guardians? Just because we're trainers doesn't mean to say we experience that. I haven't experienced it. Yeah. I understand it, yeah,
yeah,
and I have to help you, but you're the one going through it, yeah.
yeah,
So your voice needs to be heard, yeah,
yeah.
has to be that way. So how are things coming along today with the business, or what do you call it? It's a business, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
is it all? How is it all going?
Yeah, it's I definitely feel like people are listening to me now. When I first started, you know, especially with the trainers and behaviorist people, you know, when I wanted to try and work with them, I didn't feel like I was being listened to. But since we've had the awareness day, it's an actual national awareness day and it's the 20th of March, which is the first day of spring, and it's also in Pet Anxiety Month as well. Um, People, businesses have taken note of it and are, you know, getting behind the campaign as well. So that's been really good for helping with making my anxious dog grow, you know, the awareness side of it grow. So yeah, and I do awareness packs. I have set up an affiliate packs as well for partnering so that dog behaviorists and dog trainers and any pet professional can also share the story as well. Because I just thought I've got so many good tools that
Mhm.
I've done for me to show my campaign. We've got little things like this. We've had little cartoons done, you know, to show, and that is actually Bella being in the cartoon, but it just shows, you know, a little story
Yeah,
around the yellow, and it just means that people can share. So in the affiliate partner packs, they get all the cartoons, they get all the posters, they get the leaflets and the codes and the Yellow Army badges and things. So more people can then share about dogs in yellow. And I think if every puppy class talked about the yellow, then it would grow and become not grow, but it would become really acceptable and a thing. You know, the more we talk about it, the more it's not like a shock thing as well. You know, to be acceptable, it's like having your dog lead and your dog treats, and it's okay to have your calming spray and your squeezy reward as well as your yellow lead. You know, all these things are needed when you own a dog that wears yellow.
A very interesting and important point you've just brought up, which I just made a quick note that I'm now going to, when I'm working with people on one-to-ones or even when in our classes, I'm going to be discussing the yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine a heavy dog trainer done that.
I'm going to make sure my trainers also mention yellow when they're taking classes separately on the venue, because it's not something I thought of or thought about until now that you said it. Okay, so thank you for that. What about local vets? Are they on board?
Yes, I try and get everybody on board. So my local vets, and the vets, not only just the vets that I go to with Bella, but the ones around here, they have the posters up in their waiting rooms as well. My local one got involved in the Dogs in Yellow Day, so I done a talk. I went in and done a talk to the vets and the nurses about yellow as well. And they done little videos for the day and the week as well. So, you know, we turned it into a fun thing as well. So that was really good. But anybody, any dog professional can get involved in it.
But just remind me and the viewers, people watching. You said you have affiliates that can join. You've got different stages that people can come and be a part of what you're doing. Is that correct?
So I do an awareness pack
Yeah.
that anxious dogs in yellow and awareness packs. I'll get it out in a minute. Yeah, we do affiliate packs as well. So
Okay. So, Sarah, if anyone wants to get more information from you, how would they contact you?
so my website's My Anxious Dog, and then all my socials is the same. Well, I'm all you know, it's all My Anxious Dog. Or if they want to read about dogs in yellow, if you Google hashtag dogs in yellow, you get a wealth of information about who's got involved with dogs in yellow, which has been really, really good. And part of that as well, I've also got involved with all the dog shows and the dog festivals over the
Mhm.
last couple of years, that have also helped promote it. And we've had yellow space zones as well at the shows. So I've been doing shows for about 8 years, and you see a lot of anxious, reactive, fearful, overwhelmed dogs at the shows. So now we have behind our stand, we have a yellow space zone, which is
Right.
like a safe space where people can come with their dog and just sit down and have a cup of coffee or their picnic, let the dog decompress.
Mhm.
It's done around ACE-free work as well. So
Oh, yeah.
they it's also the weeing corner as well, because where the dogs have got so stressed, they haven't weed all day. So a lot of them come in and wee on the hay bale or drink gallons of water. You know, they've come in, they've been so emotionally wound up that they've not been able to drink, they've not been able to wee, they haven't felt safe enough to even sit down. And yes, they shouldn't really be brought to places like that, but they do. So it's really nice to be able to do that. And it's also like a little bit of an education zone. So where we can also call it the crying corner, because we've had a few people come in and where I can relate, and Matt, my husband, can relate to what you go through, you know, just people just because I say it's okay. You know, humans have different personalities, humans have different fears. If I walked into a pub and people I didn't know kept coming up and touching me and hugging me, I would start shouting at them after a while. I might be quiet and not happy to start with, but eventually I'd be shouting at them. And it's just the same as our dogs, and we just expect them to do everything that we want to do and not have our own voice. So that's a really nice thing that has come out of the yellow as well, is, to be able to support other people with anxious dogs, reactive dogs, and talk and share what we've learned and things that have helped, and moan about off-lead dogs running around.
I wondered how long it would take before Sarah Fisher was indirectly mentioned with the ace of the free work. Absolutely love that. Um, just one more time, if people, just before I actually ask that question, if someone wanted to buy a harness from you, do they have to measure the dogs themselves and send you the measurements and all that? How does that work?
Yeah, so I've got a lot of pictures and sizes on the website, but if anybody wants a product and aren't sure, then yeah, they just can give me a shout and I can help them with measurements. A couple of times where we've not been sure, I've sent two sizes and just said, look, try, you bought this side, but we're not sure if it's this size or this size. I'll send two out, just send what you don't want back to me.
Sarah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Um, keep up the good work. We need to be talking more about dogs in yellow and what it means. But you're right, we need to be talking about this also in our classes, so that we're hitting several people all in one go. Especially when we run classes, we can have 4 or 5 in a day. Yeah.
Mm,
And so it's a lot of people to reach. And when they're out walking their dogs or their pups, they can be more aware. But
mm.
here's the big thing, they'll also be more aware if they're what their dogs are telling them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sarah, thanks for coming along today. Um, everyone, please hit that subscribe button so you don't get to miss any of the content as we put it out. So it's going to be a goodbye from myself and a goodbye from Sarah. And Dogs Do Speak will be back soon. So bye for now.